What's up, everybody? Welcome to round number 5 of the store championship, and this is 2 undefeated players right now. This is Pudding and good old blue-purple Luffy. And yes, that's a yellow-purple Pudding, currently 4-0 in the store championship. Just been eating up all the competition. The only Pudding currently in the tournament. Must be having a really good game so far, and we're going to see them play out. Take second here. It looks like Luffy opted likely to take first. That's what they want to see, but we're going to see a Shirahoshi come down. Nice little early blocker here. In this specific matchup, likely not going to be netting you any life, as it does have a KO clause, but this could be pretty solid against a God Threat if they decide to use it, right? But we're going to start with the 6k into lead here, likely going to be going into a ramp turn here. We're going to play out instead a Doflamingo. Nice little pickup that a lot of these purple Luffy decks have been playing, just to kind of help with some of the early to mid game, also being able to look at the top 5, kind of sort out what they want their next few draws to look like, or if they see absolute crap on top, they can just throw it on the bottom. But also incidentally a blocker too. Great little OP1 card. But we're going to see here what ends up happening. Looks like there's a Sanji in the mix, as well as some other nice little cards here that are going to be helpful. So we're just going to rearrange those, and I think we're just going to set those. We're thinking going to put those on the top eventually. I think just verifying order here, because there's a lot of things you got to think about with Sanji, especially in this Luffy list, because you could potentially be at the point where you would want some of these cards at specific times, based on what's in your hand, right? Based on how much you're ramping, things like that. But we're going to pass back to Pudding. Pudding is going to start ramping here soon, as the leader ability does allow you to ramp 1 Rested Dawn by revealing 2 of your top life cards here. So I think we're likely going to do a little bit of a poke here. Would have loved to see, I guess, the Bond Clay here, right? If you could Bond Clay into Pudding attack, you could double ramp, right? Go a whole turn ahead. Instead, we're just going to reveal 2 cards off the top. This is a mid-game threat in the Katakuri blocker, as well as the 10-drop ace. And we're just going to play another Shirahoshi. Going into the 5 Dawn turn, God Thread could easily clean up one of these Shirahoshis at the expense of giving the Pudding a life here, which is one of the great utilities of Shirahoshi. Great card to be reprinted as well. Gets reprinted in PRBO too. Very expensive card before. We're going to see a 6k swing. Just going to immediately take that one. Now we're going to play Bond Clay. Bond Clay is going to add 2 Dawn, which means if you've seen blue-purple Luffy decks for the last few iterations, you know that there's likely a Thunder Bagua in the future for this Pudding deck. As anytime they keep up 2 Dawn, they're definitely going to be ramping off of that. So we're going to see here, we're at the nice little 7 Dawn here. Not a lot you can do at 7 Dawn for Pudding. Not too great here. You could play at this position, you usually want to take that first life, right? Especially if it's flipped up, because right now you could resolve the 6-drop Katakuri to ramp you by turning that life face down. Instead, we're going to play Zeus, going to KO and clean up that Bond Clay, add that ace to hand. But now we got 5 Dawn. We could play the Katakuri blocker out at this point. It's just another way to stave off damage. We've already got 2 blockers on board. We could add another. Not really much else to do this turn. We did see the good old Kuma in hand, which is a new addition from OP12. But we're sitting at 5 Dawn. So we're just going to see an activation here. We're going to be ramping here. Going to reveal our last 2 life. No secrets in this life pile. And also no triggers in this life pile as well. Pudding not necessarily known for having a ton of triggers. Just want to ramp fast and play big bodies. Now this is OP12 Pudding, this is not PRBO2 Pudding, so no 7-drop Pudding in this list just yet, but likely going to be adapting the list as we go on here. We're going to see the 8-drop Luffy come down. They immediately take the 6k swing, so now we're going crazy. We're going to swing 9k here, going to bounce a Shirahoshi to hand, likely going to get the second Shirahoshi, and that's a 2-for-1 discount on Shirahoshis here, but we are up to 10 Dawn for Pudding here. This is likely going to be the turn that we're either going to see like the 10-drop ace come down, but we also picked up a 10-drop mom. Big Mom here. Very fantastic card. Just a huge life swing. But it just depends on what they want to do here. Do they want to trash some life, gain some life, or would they rather gain some life and contest the board? And that's kind of the difference maker here between playing a Big Mom and playing ace. If we give up one of these Dawn, we're not going to be able to play anything here. But definitely want to get something big on the board to try to contest some of these bigger characters that are currently being played here. But because we've got the Doflamingo blocker out so early, we cannot easily threaten this 8-drop Luffy. So we're just gonna send 10 into 8 here, and that's immediately gonna get the block off Doflamingo. Unfortunately, not able to clean up the character, but we're going to activate Katakuri to add a Dawn, Arrested Dawn, by flipping up our life. Again, keeping all the information as open as possible to our opponent. No beiges in life. No nonsense. Also, potentially no 2Ks in hand. Pudding looks like they're bricked up just a little bit here, as they've let a lot of these 6K swings easily come in. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Gonna go ahead and go. We've got 8 Dawn, so now we can start activating leader ability for Blue Purple Luffy. Gonna do the normal, good old look at the top 5, grab a Straw Hat card. Great option in the Sanji. That is actually the Sanji that we set up earlier off the Doflamingo. So now, knowing it's in our top 5 search, having it to be able to be grabbed instead of drawn naturally, pretty solid. And then now we're going to reorder the top 4 of the life. And it looks like we're okay with what we've got on top here. And we're just going to, it looks like we drew a 1K off of the, just a draw for turn. We're up to 10 Dawn, so Sanji's coming down. Sanji's going to flip into play a Mihawk. Mihawk's going to clean up the blocker here. We're completely blockerless on the pudding side, and we know not too much counter in hand right now. And we're going to start with 6K. Finally going to get a 2K counter to get out of that, but we're going to swing an 8K, and we're going to have to take that life. Another Shirahoshi in hand is pretty solid, though, but at this point in the game, you want to start resolving as many big threats as possible. You're really hoping to you're really hoping those Shirahoshis would sit on the board a little bit longer, because typically Pudding's game plan is, you know, do some ramping, play some early cheap blockers that are kind of annoying. And then once you get to the end of the game, right, you're just playing down big threat after big threat after big threat while keeping your little low-cost blockers still on the board to save you in a pinch. But instead, we have given up we've lost all those blockers. So now this big idea of slamming down big characters is getting a whole lot harder here. And we're gonna swing a 10K ace into the 8K Luffy and just immediately slam down a Big Mom, and we're gonna pass the turn. With 3 big bodies on board, that's Sanji being able to just immediately fill up the board. Gonna be pretty hard for Pudding to get out of here. Definitely not something that we might have to deal with here. But stay tuned till the end, though. I'm going to talk a little bit about the finals after this. This is not the finals, but this is... there was a bit of a mishap that happened in the finals, and I'll talk about that in a second. So once this game ends. But here, this is getting a little tough, as we're looking top 5. Likely going to find something simple. Not necessarily do you need too much at this point, right? I think with seeing how Pudding has kind of countered most of this game, and you got 1 random life on top, you could seal yourself pretty easily here. But we'll see here. A whole bunch of 1Ks in hand. Not a great sight for Pudding, but we're going to see a 9K come in here. Going to immediately take that. Would love to see a beige. Instead, no beige, so another 9K coming through, and oh my gosh, you have to counter out of this. If you take this, it's a very clean, clean 18K coming right at your face, and that's where having some of these early game blockers come really important here. And I think right now we're just saying, okay, we're just gonna take it, okay, and we're just gonna poke. We're gonna play it really safe. Gonna poke for a 9K. We're gonna do 2K, 1K, 1K, 2K, 1K, 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 up to 10. We're gonna play another Rush Luffy, and I think we're gonna trash a card here, and yeah, whew. Cleaned it up pretty easily. There's a lot of different ways Luffy could have ended that game there, but unfortunately Luffy took it. And talk a little bit about the finals. Finals was Blue Purple Luffy versus Blue Purple Luffy. I guess you can guess who won. Yeah, it was a Blue Purple Luffy deck. I thought I recorded the finals, but turns out the VOD was lost. I looked at my phone, the VOD didn't exist, so I either didn't hit record or someone stealthily deleted it. Likely I didn't hit record and I thought I did. So anyways, this is the final video of the Sword Championship. Enjoy this type of content. I'll definitely try to drop some in the future. There's no Sword Championships going on right now, but we might pivot back to other types of gameplay. Anyways, thanks everybody.